So it's now officially October, and Conan's next update, The Age of Heroes Chapter 1, will be releasing at some point this month. There's a lot of things coming, so to make sure you're ready to tackle this update as soon as it drops, I've got some tips you can use to prepare. So, let's get started. So firstly, let's cover living settlements. This is the biggest change coming in and will likely require a lot of adjustments. The main thing is that your crafters will be converting to world thralls. They should itemise in the bench they were left in and be able to be placed in the world, but just in case of any bugs, I would pack up your crafters the night before the update and put them in a chest or a storage box. I only had a brief cosmetic bug when my thralls converted on the beta, but you just never know, so I think it's better to be safe and take them off the station entirely. Secondly, depending on your clan size and follower limit, you might need to be prepared to make some critical changes. With this update, crafter thralls will count towards your thrall cap, but on the upside, because of the bench changes, one crafter should be able to basically affect every relevant bench in your base, assuming you don't have some massive giga base. If you want one of each thrall, you'll need at least 10 free spaces, but if you want a priest for every god, you'll need 16. If you want one of each specialist tier 4 crafter, that brings you up to about 25 in total. If you're still hanging on to any tier 1 or tier 2 fighters, archers, performers, etc., it might be a good idea to cull them from your ranks and cultivate only the best, so you can save as much space as possible for your crafters. I think this update, in a way, is really going to force you to optimise all your thralls and cut the dead weight. That being said, crafters will only count to your thrall limit when they're actually placed in the world. They're not going to immediately increase your thrall cap. Say for example, if you're at 40 out of 50 thralls now, that's not going to shoot up when this update hits unless you start placing crafter thralls down. It's definitely worth planning out who's staying and who's going, though of course if you're on single player or an unofficial server, the thrall cap itself can be changed and modified, so check in with your server admin, or if you're on single player, well, set it to whatever you like. Additionally, your crafter thralls can now be geared with armour, weapons and so on. It will definitely be worth gathering some materials to make armour and clothes for them, unless you want them wearing the classic coarse rags of course. Because they are now world thralls, crafters will also be able to join in combat if, for example, your base gets hit by the purge or gets raided by an errant crocodile. Just for that reason alone, and the off chance of them getting into combat, it's probably best just to put them in some decent armour and weapons so they don't get blindsided by any unforeseen attackers. With the needs system coming into this update too, if you want to be optimal, you'll probably want to consolidate your crafting zones by bringing all the workbenches into one spot, and also building a nearby structure with beds, chairs and a campfire, enough to serve all of your thralls. This will allow your thralls to fulfill their needs close to the crafting stations, and should prevent them from wandering throughout your base and sleeping in your bed, or at least go a good way towards minimising it. Finally, on this point, if you've decorated extensively already, keep an eye out for catch points where thralls could potentially get caught on the scenery. If you've placed chairs next to a table, for example, maybe move those chairs back just a touch so the thralls can shuffle into them, and make sure your main thoroughfares are clear enough so that thralls can walk up and down without bumping into stuff. If you've already learned how to build with the tavern system and their AI in mind, then you'll be in a good position here. The situation will of course be different for everyone's bases, so it's something you'll probably have to keep an eye on. On the companions front, there's a little bit of prep there to get ready for your new voice-acted followers. For Lufay's quest, sorcery is a hard requirement. Head over to Shellback Hollow to get the Tome of Kurak and learn the skill of creating sacrificial blood, which is needed for the first step in the quest. If you want to fully prepare for his quest, you'll need 3 flasks of sacrificial blood, 1 brimstone, 1 heart of a hero, 1 Eyes of Innocence and 1 Ancient Rhino Horn. His full quest guide is linked in the card in the top right, though there are spoilers if you watch it. Freya's quest is a lot more combat heavy, so you'll want to ensure you have the levels, gear and means to survive combat both in New Azagarth and the volcano comfortably. If you want to be really optimal, a base in the Highlands with a tavern would be ideal, but it's not exactly necessary. Being above level 30 with decent weapons should be enough, and make sure you have healing, supplies, ice, all the things you need to survive combat, especially in the volcano. Again, just like with Lufay, her full quest guide is linked in the card in the top right, spoiler warning of course. Finally, just in case there are any major launch issues that would prevent people from getting on the game, make sure to log in as close to the update release time as possible to refresh the decay timer on your bases. Be that the night before or a couple of hours prior, Hopefully there won't be any launch issues, but it's best to just be prepared. Don't leave your decay refresh timer thinking you'll be able to do it after the update hits, just in case anything goes disastrously wrong. And there we have it, how you can get ready for the Age of Heroes Chapter 1 update. If you have any other tips or ideas I haven't covered here, share them in the comments so we can all be ready for when this update comes, and hopefully it drops with as few issues as possible. Thank you for watching, and of course a massive thanks to our wonderful esteemed coffee cultists for continuing to support the channel over on Patreon. If you want to get videos early, consider joining all those lovely folks over on Patreon, link in the description and pinned comment. Again, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you soon.